To the line, our last topic this week is the announcement that another longtime anchor store in the Nob Hill neighborhood is shutting its doors. That will be Morningside Antiques on Central. They're closing very soon. And Laura, a lot of talk recently about the struggles about local retail along the strip of Nob Hill. But this one is kind of a ding. I mean, if you think about it, after 30 some odd years in business for Morningside Antiques, a lot of homes in Albuquerque that can claim to have something from that store in their home. You know what I mean? That's what local retail does. It sort of spreads its thing out there in the community, and that's what the loss hurts so much. Well, from your sense, what's your sense of this closing? What does it mean to you?
Well, I mean, I think it's sad.
Yeah.
You know, obviously, I think it's important for us to shop local and keep a lot of those dollars local. When I was at the Green Chamber, that was one of our biggest initiatives, is to buy local, because there's so much more of an impact of your dollars that go into that local community. There's waves of economic development that goes from, you know, basically money back in the pockets of the owners, who then spend it on, you know, discretionary income on other services, employees, you know, taxes that all stay within that. So I greatly support shopping local, and I think this is an example of what's happening. On the other side, though, just to play devil's advocate, I mean, I do think that a lot of stores, you know, one person mom and pop places, small places like this, have to change the way that they bring in new customers. And I'll give one example. I mean, if you go onto Amazon, and who doesn't, right, to buy stuff, there's often, you know, they often just connect people up, sellers and buyers, and so you end up, sometimes if you buy books and you want them for less than, you know, sort of full price, they will often connect you with a bookseller somewhere else who is willing to give you a better price on it. They have a brick and mortar store, but they're also, you know, participating with the online version to try to make the most out of it. And I think a lot of stores have to figure out how to do that in order to expand their market base. That's fair. Merritt, would you agree with that? That's part of the situation?
And a store where I used to shop in Nob Hill, Qué Chula, they went all online.
Right.
They adapted out of their bricks and mortar. I have an interesting experience. My family lived in Albuquerque, I think, from 72 to 74. Moved to Silver City. I did all my stuff. I came back when I was 35. And the change from the time I had a sister at UNM in the early 80s to where Nob Hill was in 2005, where it is today, amazing. It's a great story. But you also have a challenge, I think, with the millennial generation who would much rather, and it's not my style, but would much rather go to Urban Outfitters than Elsa Ross.
Right.
Would much rather, you know, get into the mass-marketed hipster notion to be told what's cool. And, you know, also, you know, a kid from our teacher is going to be really happy with the Target.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm really happy with
that's
the
a fair
Target.
point. Absolutely.
And so I think you see a lot of the boutique-y, sophisticated retail moving northeast and to the North Valley and to Los Ranchos, because that's where the buyers our age
and that's where the money is. That's where the money is. You know, this was not a cut-rate store, Morningside Antiques. And antique stores are different than any other kind of stores, I would say. My father was an antique dealer. And but you know, in the same week that we get news of this closing, we also find that John Brooks Supermarket on the west side is closing down. Now that's like hundreds of jobs right there. And that's one of the few locally owned supermarkets here in Albuquerque. So this is becoming a trend, and this is alarming.
Let me say with you a quick sec. You mentioned something interesting as Merritt started with her bit. Where the money is, you got to be where the money is. Ostensibly, however, this art bus, this ART thing that's going to be running up and down Central, is designed to pull that money, get it on that bus, spill it into the front doors of these businesses. Is that going to be enough to pull the money out of the Northeast Heights? Is that train?
Total misconception.
No, first of all, I think that the art corridor and the prospect of a year of construction, well, it might convince me that it's time to retire if I was thinking about it anyway. So that's, you know, that's a factor, I think, in the Nob Hill area
The lead coal construction closed businesses.
And the lead coal construction,
That's a fact that happened. What do you think?
Yeah, I was, you know, I think there's, you know, thanks to companies like Uber, I mean, the people with money are not riding the buses. They're not riding rapid transit. I mean, you and I have had this conversation before. My wife and I are doing a lot of traveling, and we've made a point of going to cities where we can use public transportation.
That's right.
And I'm telling you, we get on these buses, Gene, there ain't anybody like us on these buses.
Right.
There's not college kids on these buses. Yep. There's not, I mean, it has really become a transportation pod for homeless people, for people with disabilities, for mentally, I mean, it's not what it used to be. It's not the family getting on the bus and going to get ice cream.
Right.
And so I think it's going to be a huge change. I think one of the things that's happening that you're seeing with like this business is you got to change. You know, the buyers today, like the Urban Outfitters, I'm shocked with my kids. My kids will go and buy a plain white T-shirt from Urban Outfitters, and it's $65. Right. I could buy a bag of them for $4 at Target, but they don't want that one. They want the one. And so, I mean, the people that are spending the money now have changed their philosophy.
Those T-shirt buyers, however, are going to get older. They're going to get married. They're going to have kids. They're going to have a home. And this is where my point.
I don't think they are. I think that's the change.
Okay.
I think these millennial kids are not going to be home buyers.
Okay.
I think they're going to be apartment owners. They're going to be apartment renters. They're going to be
they're
going to be the condo people.
But that brings us right back to your point, Laura. How does a business evolve if people are not going to own homes and you're selling things that are designed to fill a home, basically?
Well, and that's why I think for a store that was very, obviously, as Dee Dee mentioned, it's a very particular clientele. They had very unique pieces.
That's right.
You really have to find people who are attracted to that kind of, and so the masses out there are not necessarily attracted to this kind of work or this kind of good. So, trying to figure out how to get online. For example, I mean, if you look at Etsy, for example, has just exploded. Pinterest exploded. So there's still people that like unique, homemade, or very specific. Not that they were homemade, obviously.
Right.
But there's a market out there. It's just not. It doesn't revolve around a geographic area anymore.
But, but here's the thing, guys. We've lost Leishman's, Objects of Desire, Moses, all these high-end joints.
But here's why, Gene. I think because now when you want to buy that European-looking table that you used to go and shop for, and they would tell you, you go to IKEA, something like that. But not even if you go to those retail stores now, you can go online and buy that from a manufacturer who's hand making them in Denmark, shipping it to you, and it's just a little bit more than it is to do it the other way. And I think that's why, 30 years ago, if you wanted to buy furniture, you had to walk in this store to get it. There was no other way to even look at it.
Right. Interesting. Again, I'm interested in that your dad. You're of it. This is very interesting to me. Your dad was in the antique business. Who is attracted to antique type stuff? Is the population just plain aging out of the business?
Well, no. The millennials and the Gen Xers think of the 60s and the 50s and even the 80s as antiques,
Yes.
And that's not the traditional antique store like Morningside. Gotcha. They don't have, retro stuff. Retro stuff is big with that age group, and it sometimes is the stuff of Urban Outfitters too.
But even on the retro stuff, Gene, it's interesting. My oldest son decided a few weeks ago that he wanted to get into having records.
Okay.
So we went out to buy a record player. Yeah. I went out with him, and it was actually a pretty neat bonding time because I was going through records with him and stuff. But you know what? We went to the Charlie's, the record shop up in up on, I can't remember what street it's on. It used to be the old soda factory and all that stuff, Charlie's. And they got, but we were looking at some really inexpensive turntables and putting stuff together. Nothing to do with that. He wanted the little thing that opened up from Urban Outfitters that was $125 that I'm telling you.
That you drop your phone in and it plays.
Yeah, no, it doesn't even do that. I mean, you could plug it in the back, but it was the record player opened up, the speaker was right there. It was the kind of thing that we got every Christmas as kids because you broke it by next Christmas.
That's right.
So every year you got one, and that's what he wanted to spend the money on.
But you bring up a point, and I want to finish with this. If not Nob Hill, where is the small specialty store owner who has a passion for something, only needs 400 or 500 square feet to sell it, doesn't need 4,000 square feet to sell it.
He's got
it can't be just all online, though. It can't be.
You have to be a destination, Madrid.
Okay.
Or the rail yard.
It has to be the right.
But where does that leave Nob Hill guys? You hear what I'm saying? You're all doing.
But if Nob Hill goes big box, vertical integration in retail is something that's been going on for 30 years, and it's a global.
Kind of gone big box with Staples.
Yeah.
Is right there.
Yeah.
Big box.
Is it your prediction that in fact what might happen is the smaller versions of big boxes end up on Central somewhere around Nob Hill, with this train going down the road?
Yes.
You know what I mean? Is that where we're headed for here?
Oh, it's happening already. You go to any of the big cities right now. I mean, they got Walgreens, and they're in these little shops that are the size of where we're sitting right now.
They have mini versions.
Walgreens, right?
That's right. So what does that do for the record store? If Dan and his kid want to go buy records, You shouldn't have to go to the Heights.
You have to adapt. You have to adapt to whatever the market is, and you can't just assume that your market is only limited, because they're going to be, they're going to be moving out of that market, and new people will be coming in. So you have to adapt to that.
Let's hold it there. Sorry about that. We're right out of time. Good thanks to Christian, by the way, for his work at Morningside Antiques for 30 years. So it's all the time we have. Join us online as we talk about the river otter's return to New Mexico.